Now, presenting our International Women's Day Organizational Awards to Beyond Our Borders and Women's Regional Network, we have a special video presentation from Colorado Congressman Joe Neguse.
Hello, and good morning, everyone. My name is Joe Neguse, and I have the honor and the privilege of representing Colorado's 2nd Congressional District in the United States Congress. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to WorldDenver and its partners for their continued leadership in this space and for giving me the opportunity to present International Women's Day Awards to Beyond Our Borders and Women's Regional Network. These two Colorado-based women-led organizations are leading the way when it comes to advancing peace and gender equality around the world. And I am so incredibly grateful for their steadfast advocacy during these challenging times. Additionally, I want to thank a founder of both organizations, Patricia Cooper, for her work to amplify the voices of unheard, marginalized women around the world. Patricia meets with our office frequently, and her leadership on the global stage is truly invaluable. For more than 20 years, the Beyond Our Borders Network has supported dozens, literally dozens, of nonprofit organizations that create opportunities for women and girls to lead in the global community. Since the passage of the Women, Peace, and Security Act of 2017, Beyond Our Borders has worked closely with me and my office and other members of the Colorado delegation to ensure that this legislation empowers women to gain economic self-sufficiency and participate in every single phase of our nation's foreign policy. They've also helped me and other members of Congress form the first ever Women, Peace, and Security Caucus. And they've organized strong support across the country for a more equitable and effective approach to national security. They continue to give me and so many others hope for our future. I also want to recognize the enormous impact of Women's Regional Network, which has supported women's rights and peacemaking from Afghanistan to Pakistan to India. Women's Regional Network was built with a mission to center and elevate women who lead in the region. And now more than ever, their efforts to provide safety and protection of those women is simply paramount. Since the fall of Kabul last year, women leaders in Afghanistan have become targets of the Taliban, as we all know, putting their security perpetually at risk. In the face of those challenges, Women's Regional Network has raised significant funds to establish protective safe homes for Afghan women, human rights defenders, and they're continuing to provide funding for operations, essential services, and security. Through their work and in their work, these organizations are continuing the progress made by previous generations that preceded them and the legacy of human rights leaders across the globe. I encourage everyone to learn more about their important work. Congratulations to both organizations on much deserved recognition, and I look forward to the continued work to support and empower women around the world.
Accepting on behalf of Beyond Our Borders and Women's Regional Network, please welcome Patricia Cooper and Alexis Newton.
Yeah. So I'm Patricia Cooper, and I'm with Alexis Newton. I'm the co-founder, along with Jane Regal, of Beyond Our Borders, and I also helped found with Cinda Collins-Arsenault, wherever she is today, the Women's Regional Network. There we are, I think. And Alexis.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alexis Newton. So happy to be here. The current chair of Beyond Our Borders, a giving circle that's housed at the Women's Foundation of Colorado. We do have Lauren Castile here today with us, the president and CEO of the Women's Foundation of Colorado. I just want to quickly say thank you to John and Thalia and Jamie and Patricia for putting this together. It means a lot to all of us and to our community here in Colorado. On behalf of the members of Beyond Our Borders, we are honored to be selected as one of the organizational honorees at today's celebration. Beyond Our Borders is a giving circle housed at the Women's Foundation of Colorado. For 22 years, we have forged a bond of friendship, sometimes across 3 generations, to collectively support organizations working to enhance the status of women and girls in the most underserved regions of the world. Each member's annual contribution of $2,000 has allowed us to grant over $1 million to date and build a $350,000 endowment as a foundation for the next generation of members who join us with their philanthropy. Our commitment to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals serves as the mission of what is possible when citizens come together to solve global problems with compassion and commitment. We do all this in a spirit of friendship, with all women struggling to have their voices heard. Over the years, the women of Beyond Our Borders saw opportunities to have a greater impact on issues that affect women's lives globally. We've led several special initiatives separate from our philanthropy. Beyond Our Borders has partnered with Capital Sisters International, and Patricia Foley-Hinnon is here today with us, to host the first national conference specifically focused on gender lens investing. Why did we do this? Because we wanted our small endowment to have as much impact as possible on women's lives. The members then launched a statewide public-facing website to collect Coloradoans to opportunities to volunteer for refugee-serving organizations. This collaborative effort helped to harness community interest and organizational need in a pivotal time during the Syrian crisis, and now this serves as an essential tool in supporting our new Afghan asylees.
And I think we have Lori Ziller and Karen Ewan and some of the others who help with that initiative for the collaborative effort for refugees in Colorado. And then we began in the past 2 years to form a Colorado Coalition on Women, Peace, and Security, with the focus on the implementation of that act that Representative Neguse just referred to. The act was passed, believe it or not, by a bipartisan vote of Congress in 2017. Amazing. We thank WorldDenver as a strong and early member of the coalition, representing some 40 Colorado-based organizations, many of you right here today. As a result of the coalition's outreach, both Representatives Neguse and Jason Crow joined the Women, Peace, and Security Caucus of the House. Their leadership gives Colorado a strong voice in Congress on key issues facing women in conflict zones. The Women, Peace, and Security Act is the culmination of decades of efforts, mainly by women from the Global South, for UN resolutions demanding women be equitably included in peace negotiations and national security decisions. That power of women's collective and collaborative action as a major force for change is the genesis upon which Beyond Our Borders was conceived. That same model served as the foundation for the Women's Regional Network in Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, and we did add Sri Lanka 11 years ago. It also inspired women in East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and Tanzania, along with 7 Latin American countries, to form their own regional networks, to work in solidarity across 3 continents for impact and peace in a world torn asunder by conflict. Both organizations believe women are the key to building sustainable peace founded on justice. We advocate for gender considerations to redress power imbalances in all policy and national security issues. We advocate prioritizing diplomacy over armed intervention. And that brings us to today. Women are systematically marginalized from peace processes. Because they do not make war, they are told they have no role in solving them. Their voices and experiences are almost totally ignored. Yet it is women who build bridges where there are walls, heal the wounds of broken families, and seek justice where there is none, to rebuild their new communities after war. On the screen, you will see some documentation of women's voices from the most remote and conflicted regions of South Asia. By connecting women across conflicted borders in South Asia, East Africa, and Latin America, the women's regional networks have a bold and transformative vision for what we know can be a safer, more stable world. We may soon have a new world order as a result of the crisis in Ukraine. We are at a perilous moment for all of humanity. It is also a valuable moment in history for women, from the global north and the global south, to collectively amplify their voices to create a world based on freedom, truth, and justice. We invite you to join with us in making what we know is possible a reality for all. As Margaret Mead once said, and you know this, never believe a few caring people can't change the world, for indeed, that is whoever has. Thank you for this very special recognition.
Thank you.
These are amazing women in the organization. I'm serious. I've heard so many stories from Pat Cooper. We get to see each other about once a month, and she tells us these wonderful stories about what they're doing for other women that I would never even think that was going on. So let's give them another round of applause. Yay!